Hey, ladies. Hey, ladies. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. I am so excited. We have a new guest to the show, Coach Sharon. If you guys could say hi to Coach Sharon.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, so we're so excited today because we're going to be teaching you how to develop a workshop presentation. As a coach, I help women in business gain clarity and focus to be able to achieve their entrepreneurial goals. And one of the things that I teach in my coaching sessions is how to develop a powerful, impactful workshop. And that's what Coach Sharon and I did. Coach Sharon is
Yes.
she is a great student. She showed up every session. She was very consistent, persistent. And when she came to the sessions, she learned. And not only did she learn, but she applied the knowledge, right? So every skill set that I taught her, she applied it, okay? So we are super excited about her being here today. She has her life coaching certification,
Yes.
25 years in corporate America. She is a mom and a wife. And today we're going to be asking her some questions about grief because one of the topics that she coached on is grief. Okay. So, Coach, can you tell us more about yourself?
Sure. As you stated, my name is Sharon Parham, and I have been in corporate America for 25 years. I am a certified life coach, and I enjoy what I'm doing now. I really enjoy coaching. I birthed three children. And what got me into this is because my son did transition, and we'll talk about that a little later. But so that is what got me here. I am coaching with a purpose because I believe that there is a purpose for my pain. So, therefore, I would like to share all of that information with you guys. I'll be able to help you or assist you navigate through the grieving process. Again, I am married, again, working corporate America for over 25 years now. Don't judge me. I think I'm still kind of cute now. I'm just teasing you guys. I like to have fun, so I like to have fun. I like to be in an environment around people that's fun and have good positive attitudes, and that's pretty much about me. I come from a big family, and there was a total of 9 of us. So I have three sisters and 5 brothers. So therefore, like I said, I'm the youngest of 9. So I had to fight for everything. Well, maybe they gave me everything. I like to say I fight for everything, but that's about me. That's me. Enough about me in a nutshell. That's pretty much everything that I can tell you about me. And I'm just excited to be here with Coach Kiara.
Yes, thank you. So, Coach Sharon, she has a few different topics that she coach on. One of the topics that she do coach on is grief, and one of the other topics, because you have to know your topics, right? When you are building a workshop, you need to know what your topics are that you're going to be educating your audience on, right? So once you know their problem, you can address their problem, right? Because when people come to your workshop, they want solution, right? They don't want to hear a whole bunch of fluff. They want to know the topic that you're going to
Absolutely.
be educating them on and addressing their problems that they're having right now so you can bring them solutions, right? So one of the topics that coaches on is living versus existing. So can you tell us what is the difference between living versus existing?
Absolutely. As I often say when I'm having this conversation with others, that when you're existing, we'll start with existing. So when you're existing, you're just doing the things that you think that you should be doing, just pretty much just going through life, getting up, going to work, coming home, taking care of kids or your family for the most part, and then you're just getting up, doing it all over again. Living, on the other hand, is doing things that you enjoy doing. Those things like you going on vacation and, just hanging out with your friends and just enjoying life. Now, don't get me wrong. If you enjoy, just going to work, coming home, then that does not pertain to you. I'm just speaking to those who specifically feel like they're stuck and they're just going through the motion. One of the other things that I always say when we're talking about living versus existing, and sometimes people just don't know the difference. So, therefore, what I'll say to you, are you adding life to your years? Or are you adding years to your life? That's a great determining factor.
Right. So I know, and I'm just going to speak on myself, right? I know since the pandemic happened, I have not been living like I used to live, right? So every month I would be in a different state, or when I lived overseas, I would be in a different country, right? So
Hmm.
my life has really slowed down. And I felt like for a while, I was just existing. I was just getting up, working, working out, meditating, going to bed, getting up, working, meditating, going to bed, right? So, how do we break those routines to get back out there and start living again?
Well, it starts with being intentional. So the first thing you need to do is recognize it. If you feel that way, if you're one of those who feel like, oh, I'm in this cycle, I'm in a slump, I need to do something different, then you have to be intentional. So it starts with renewing your mind. So the first thing that you want to do is be like, okay, I don't like this anymore. It's kind of like, when we look in the mirror and we don't like what we see anymore, then we start working out, right? So it's kind of the same thing. We're going to apply those same concepts. I want to do something different. I want to get out the house. So again, just be intentional. It's just make small steps, even if it's something as small as just getting up, going out, taking a walk around the block. So you're doing something different, and that's where you want to start.
Yes, I love that. And even like last week, right, I went to see Sarah Jakes Roberts in person, and it was like 5,000 people there. And I had not, seriously, I had not been in a room that big in so long. And so I found out that I have a little bit of social anxiety now, right?
Oh
So
no.
yeah, so now I have to start existing more and getting outside of my comfort zone little by little to integrate myself back into society from being at home.
Yeah. A lot of people, all of us really have gotten comfortable with just being at home all the time because just think about it. The world shut down. Our jobs, most of our jobs, had us working remotely. So therefore, we didn't have to do those things that we were so used to doing. The world changed. And
Yeah.
so, as we affectionately say, our new normal, well, we want to go back to some type of normalcy and get back out and enjoying life and socializing.
Yes, and I like how somebody here they said to renew your mind,
Yeah.
right? And so that's what we've been doing. We've been renewing our mind so we can get back out there and get back in the world and start
Yes.
socializing again. And we're also here to talk about one of the topics that is really dear to your heart. During
Absolutely.
the pandemic, a lot of people lost a lot of family members, a lot of friends, and even prior to the pandemic, because I had a great loss 5 years ago, and I'm just now starting to actually process it and grieve it and start, the healing process from a loss that I had 5 years ago. And then I had one of my best friends die 3 years ago, right? So I've been like kind of just self healing and self-soothing myself and kind of coping and moving forward. But now I'm able to get professional help with I have a mental health counselor, a therapist, and also a life coach. So can you tell us what drew you to life coaching and grieving to
Oh,
help people
absolutely.
with grieving?
Absolutely. So, to be honest, I was doing the certification pre-COVID. And so I was just like, okay, I was doing it just because I wanted to do it. I like to talk. I like people. And then when my son transitioned, I stopped everything. It's like my world just like completely shut down, like literally. And it was like I just couldn't function. I couldn't think. I couldn't do, just the normal things that one would do, throughout their days and just throughout life. And so I was literally like just sitting and I was thinking, I never asked the Lord, why did this happen to me? I never said that. That was not a question that I asked. But one thing that did come to me was he knew that I could handle it. And that was a purpose. As I indicated earlier, there was a purpose for my pain. And I still didn't know what that purpose was. All I know is throughout this process of grieving, um, I wanted somebody to talk to. And of course, we have our families, right? And they're there, but they're going through the same things that you're going through. Maybe not on the magnitude that I am because it was my child, but they're grieving as well. So, and after a while of talking to friends, that's going to get old to them because they get tired of hearing it because, it's not their loved one. So, fast forward, and I was just, like I said, looking for something different, somebody to, like just talk to. And I couldn't find what I wanted. I didn't feel that I needed a therapist because I wasn't, clinically, in my opinion, clinically depressed, but I just wanted to talk. So as I was wanting to do that, I just started documenting my journey because I was heading for depression. I was literally just going to work or log onto the computer. I would
Yeah.
log off and go get into bed. There were some days that people would call, my sisters, my brothers, my nieces, nephews, my kids, my daughters would call, and they would call and check on me. And I could be in the midst of just bawling, but they would call and I would just like suck it up and be like, answer the phone, like, hello, like everything was fine when it was not fine. And so then, like I said, I just started, well, actually, a friend of mine, I was talking to a friend and they said, I'm worried about you. And at the time, I couldn't understand what they were saying. But as we continued the conversation, I heard the concern of what they were actually saying, of the things that I was doing, and I didn't realize it. And that is when I took the step to become intentional and started documenting my journey. So I went to Facebook, and I just started saying every day I was going to do something and say something to make myself be held accountable. And that turned into the phone calls, the text messages, the inboxes of people telling me that I was helping them while I was going through. What started out for something from my healing ended up being for everyone. And I started calling it our journey. So that is what brought me to where I am today.
Wow. I love that. I love that you took your pain and you start helping other people um, kind of get through as well, right? So, with grieving, what are some of the tools, tips, and strategies that will help people get through? Like, for example, when birthdays come, or anniversaries come, or holidays come. Holidays are the worst when you've lost a loved one, or Mother's Day, or Father's Day, or any significant date, right? So, what are some tools, tips, and strategies that you've given in your workshop about moving forward um, with the grieving on holidays?
Well, it's like you said, it's a heavy topic, and it's emotional. And when it comes to matters of the heart, sometimes we just can't control that. In my opinion, so I've always said, and I still feel, and I still believe that the first are always the worst because you start replaying back all of the things that you've done years prior, and you start thinking about if this person was here, what we would be doing and what they would be saying, and things like that. So to say that it's easy would be a lie. And I wouldn't dare tell anybody that it's easy. Now, what I can tell you that it would get better, but it's not easy. But one of the things that I can tell people is I always indicate to them about thinking of the good things, thinking of the memories. Sometimes, when we're thinking about those things, and again, those first, you just bawling. But eventually you'll get to a place where you start smiling, you start laughing, and things like that when you think about that person.
Yeah.
So um, I say this, and I try to be careful when I say it, but I need for people to understand what I'm saying when I say it. When I say we have to move on, I'm not saying move on from your loved one. I'm saying do your best and be intentional about moving on from that pain, because that loved one is always going to be with you. That those memories are always going to be with you. It's etched in your heart. You can't move on from that. So I don't want anyone to take it or to misconstrue when I say move on, that I'm saying move on from them. No, we need to move on from that pain, and we're going to replace that with something positive. When we're thinking about something, we're going to, when those thoughts come in our mind, we're going to replace those negative thoughts with something positive. And we're going to look back and we're going to smile versus crying.
Yeah. And I know we're gonna go back to about building the workshop as well. It's always good to include like the tips, tools, and strategies like coach is talking about, right? So instead of thinking about like the bad times, you want to think about the good times that you have
Absolutely.
person, and you want to transfer that energy into something
Absolutely.
positive, right? So when you're building your workshop, you want to make sure that not only do you know your topic, you're educating them on the problem, but you also give them solutions to their problems, right? Like the solutions that coach just gave right now, right? So when we're talking about grieving, one of the things that people do a lot is they compare, right? Or they say, well, you should be further along, or you should move forward, or it's so many things that people will say, right? And it's okay to, I think it's okay to be sad, right? This is somebody who probably been with you your whole life, right? What do you say to people who say you should be here in the grieving process?
Well, as I have indicated previously to others, there to me there is no right or wrong way to grieve, and there is no way to tell me what I should be doing, where I should be in the process, because you can't necessarily measure where someone should be. I know that we we've talked about previously about the 7 stages of grief. So with that being said, they say that the first thing is shock, or disbelief, and then maybe denial and anger, those 7 stages. And so I don't want anyone to walk away today thinking that I'm in the shock stage and I have to be here for 2 months, or I have to be here for a month, or I'm in the angry stage and I have to be here for 6 months. That is not true. Some people will not fall into all of the stages. Some people may be shocked and then immediately go to anger or whatever. So I don't want anyone to think that because I'm shocked today that I am not entitled to feel another way tomorrow. There is no um, chronological order for how you're feeling, or that you will even feel any of all of these emotions. I don't like saying stages because it does give the impression that one has to come after the other, and that's not true. As far as someone telling you where you should be, nobody, in my opinion, no one can judge that. The only thing that I would recommend to my clients is just to be mindful that you're not one falling into a depression or an unhealthy place, and you would have to be able to recognize those by being, again, being intentional about your surroundings and being intentional by listening to those who love you. So those that love you, they're not going to steer you wrong, I hope, at least for the most part. And I hope that they wouldn't be insensitive. But we also have to be mindful that grief is heavy and it's easy. Sometimes we can confuse grief with depression. That, in my opinion, that's an easy thing to do because we're grieving and we're in that place where we're so sad that we don't realize that we've crossed the line of and now we've fallen into a depression, and then we're not doing the things that we normally do. And don't get me wrong, there will be times where you don't feel like doing certain things or going places or whatever. But if that is a constant, then you might want to, take a second look at yourself or think about it, and or your loved ones. One of the things I said was when I was doing the Facebook thing was I was looking for accountability,
Mhm.
and I needed accountability to make sure that I was moving forward and not going backwards. Again, don't get me wrong. There's going to be days. I don't call them good and bad days. I call them good days and better days. So one day I might have a good day, and then the next day I might have a better day. And as I'm going through it, and as you go through it, your better days will be much sooner than your good days. You won't have as many good days. You'll have more better days as time progresses.
Yes, I love that. And can you tell us what is it that you offer in your program?
Oh, absolutely. The first thing, as far as the grief, well, actually, the program itself, depending on what the topic is that we're discussing, but for the sake of today's discussion, for grief, there's four components to my program altogether. But can we just take a step back before we talk
Yes,
about that?
absolutely.
I wanted to make sure that I addressed what was dropped into my spirit last week, last Saturday when I was just sitting here and studying and carrying on. And one of the things that I realized was that people are struggling and suffering
Mhm.
from PTGD. That's what I call it. You know how you have PTSD, but this is PTGD. That's
Mhm.
post traumatic grief disorder.
Mhm.
Throughout the pandemic, there were
Mhm.
so many people that lost loved ones. They couldn't have proper funerals or proper burials. So they are grieving without closure. So that in itself is tough. So again, those tools and strategies that I would offer in the program would definitely be beneficial for those that are in that place as well. Because again, it's hard to move forward when you don't have something to wrap it up and put a bow on it, if that makes sense.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. And I want to ask you before we get to talking about the call to action and how you're going to have a call to action in your workshop, ladies. I want to ask you about spirituality, right, and a relationship with God or whatever you believe in, play a part in the moving forward process of grieving.
Oh, absolutely. I am a firm believer. I am a woman of faith. I definitely believe having a relationship with God kept me. Um, there were times, like I said, when I didn't know what to do, where to go, where to turn to, who to talk to. But I knew that He would never leave me nor forsake me. And um, I joke about this now that we were in COVID, so church was pretty much shut down, but they had just started back where you could go in person, but we had to register to go, and then we could only go every other Sunday to give other people the opportunity to come. Um, but during this time, ju- just so happened by the grace of God, it was opened back up, and I started back going. And I was going, and there was times, I'll tell you, I did not know what he was talking about. I didn't take a note. I don't know what he preached about. I don't know anything. But I knew that I knew that I knew that I needed to be there. And eventually my heart and my spirit would catch up with what I was hearing. So I knew that I had to be there. And I am so grateful because, again, that's what these emotions can send you on a spiral. It can cause you to do things that you've never done before. It is just, if you're not grounded, I can just tell you that it would be a challenge.
And it's okay, right? Because it's normal to have anger outbursts and to be
Oh,
angry,
absolutely.
upset, and experience all these different emotions is okay, you know?
Yes, it is definitely okay to experience what you experience. And that's one of the other things that I say as well. Don't suppress what you're feeling, explore those feelings, and be in touch with those feelings, and just be like, you know what, when I did this or I said this, it made me feel like this, so that you know how to navigate. Because if I'm having a conversation with you and I say something that you don't necessarily like, and there's this outburst, it's not because you didn't like what I said, it's because of what you're feeling at that moment. And those are the things that, I want people to recognize. Keep track. A lot of people, I encourage people to journal, write it down, keep track, because as especially as women, we go through different things. So, from the first through the 10th, I was doing this and I felt this way, just things like that, so that you can recognize and go back and have record of how you were feeling during this time frame, and be able to tweak and see what you can adjust during that time to make things better for yourself.
Yes, exactly. And so we need to talk really quick because we don't have a lot of time
Okay.
about so what were some of the benefits of me as your coach?
Oh my
And what are
goodness.
some of the benefits of having a coach, right?
Yes. So listen. So when I first came um to Coach Kiara, I just basically told her, I just need accountability, because I knew what I wanted to do. I had in mind, I just need somebody to hold me accountable to get these things done. I had no clue what I was in store for. So let me just tell you, this has been the best
Mhm.
time that I have had with getting this together. She has basically, listen, you helped me not only for what I came for, which was accountability, but you gave me so many nuggets as to how to get to my goals much sooner than I anticipated. When I came and started with you, one of my goals, one of my longer term goals, was for my certification. And I was able to obtain my certification while we were going through the program. You literally, with the roadmap of how to get things set up, how to structure the business. I'm just grateful. I'm thankful. Phenomenal. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you going through the program and being able to structure your business and have a business system, right? So when you enroll your clients in the program, they have a way from the time that you meet them through your calls all the way till they get to your program, right? They have a system and structure to go through, right?
Yes.
So building your business systems is important. Some of the things we talked about, marketing strategies, right? And how to have
Yes.
conversations with potential clients. And that's something that you've been doing on the regular, right? Being able to see those opportunities, right? In different speaking engagements. We learned about that. So in my program, I teach you everything you need to know
Absolutely. And
about building a business.
don't forget the things that I didn't think were marketable. You showed me or taught me how to make them marketable. And I was just thinking that, I just did this. And you're like, wait, but that you need to put that down too. So
Yeah.
yes, you were able, you assisted me with navigating through it all, and getting it all wrapped up. And a professional with a professional presentation, just all of the you definitely, I would recommend you to my friends.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And so at the end of her presentation, at the end of all of our presentations, you should always have a call to action. And that's something Coach knows very dearly is to have a call to action. So you want to present your offer and you want to let them know what it is that you have to offer, right? And then you also want to let them know where they can contact you. So they can text you,
Yes.
they can call you, they can follow you on social media, they can join your group, but always have a place and space for people to go to so you can continue to work with them. So, always at the end of every presentation, you want to have some type of call to action. Now, we're going to go to Coach. Is there anything else you want to leave the ladies? Can you let us know about your program, what you have to offer, and then let us know where we can find you and what you have coming up next?
Yeah. So yeah. So my program, it is it is called the influence of intention. Because again, as we spoke here today, it is really about being intentional about your healing, or about whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. So you have to be intentional about that. That is truly the first step in reaching your goals. Um, I am available again for coaching, and I am in the process of putting a workshop together for those who would like to join me as well. Thank you, Kiara. And you can definitely reach me on Facebook at SD Param, or you can also reach me. I also have a YouTube page, SD Param 2000, as well as Instagram. For any appointments that you would like to make with me, I can be reached by phone at 630-605-9540. Again, I am on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And I am so looking forward to speaking to all of you, any of you that needs help to go through the process. Like I said, it's not easy, but it's doable. It's not by coincidence, it is intentional.
Yes, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you, ladies, for showing up. And you do not have to continue to exist. You can
No,
start living again.
yes.
And Coach Sharon, she is going to help you guys to start living again. She's been through it. She know what it's like. She knows the process. She may not know exactly how you feel, but I'm sure at one point, she's been there, right? So you definitely want to go ahead and follow her. And I'm going to put her page and I'm also going to put her Instagram up after this. So you guys have a great night. Thank you for showing up and
Thanks.
we appreciate the
Thank you for
comment.
having me.
You're welcome.
Bye
Bye.
bye.